I've been harvesting for a little bit. Um, just it's fall weather's kicked in. I have so many green tomatoes out here. I do not know if I'm going to get them all harvested. Not today for sure. It's going to have to be over the week um, or the weekend. Um, I do 16 hours tomorrow, and then I only have Sunday off. So I'm going to see what I can get done by then. As far as the tomatoes, I'm probably going to have to pickle a bunch of them, which means I got to learn to can finally. I may fry some green tomatoes too. I'm going to try it. But today, I put a bunch of raspberries in the fridge, and I've got chocolate mint here. I have got some sage, not a lot of sage left. Hi, hard truth. And I have a lot of kale. Yay, kale. Let me show you this pile. We're going to sit outside and do this pile. There's so much kale there. So I figured it's easier to just be outside. I'm going to toss the stems into the bed I just pulled it all out of. And I'll deal with it when I have to clean up everything for the fall. But yeah, I didn't feel like dealing with the stems inside the house and stand in the kitchen. My back ends up hurting pretty bad. Although I have girls got some muscles on the legs, I run a lot. But it's just there's sometimes I have trouble walking. Of course, I lift people, I do all that stuff. I'm running up and down stairs at work and everything else. So I get really wore out after 16 hours. But so right now I'm sitting in a comfy garden chair and we're going to tackle this stuff. I got dandelion greens in here too and beet greens. I'm going to cook those up tonight for myself. Troy doesn't eat that stuff. But there's a bucket under here. They're right there, and my shears. So those will be tonight's meal. All this is going to get blanched and frozen after I process it. So instead of staring at whatever, like the dirt pile, I'm going to set the phone on. Let's switch back. Sorry. I hope you guys can hear me. I don't think that's going to work. Crap. What do I do? I didn't think this through. Did not think this through at all. Anyway, part of the thing I wanted to chat about was dealing with the hungry situation. Sorry about this. Okay. I'm going to try to get closer to where I want to set the phone to and see if I have any luck here. I hope it... Hi, Mudbrooker. There we go. Okay, can you guys hear me from this distance? Let's see. Please say yes. Please say yes. Hello. Okay. Okay, awesome. All right. Anyway, I am not trying to get on Shannon's bad side here. Just because that's not my intention here. I am trying to help, and if it's not just her, maybe somebody else who's in a dire situation can, glean some of this off of this and figure it out, be able to figure out where to go, what resources, Um, for a while, I had been in a couple of times in a similar situation. One of them was while I was married to my ex. We were not We were not in a good spot because of his job situation. Luckily, I was still working, but he was playing games, to put it mildly. And for a while, I had to work two jobs and try to handle things. But money was going someplace. Oh, yeah, United Way is fantastic. Um, Catholic Charities, now, at the time, they didn't, we hadn't gone to them, but we had other resources. We were lucky we ended up on his grandmother's property, and again, money was disappearing. But I learned early on to be a bit of a survivalist, and I kind of surprised some of the African people that I work with because I go and I do not hesitate eating foraged food, things like that. Now, this time of year is getting harder um, as far as finding those sort of things. But like I said, even tonight, I have a freezer full of stuff. I'm still going to have dandelions tonight, and I'm going to have some rice and dandelion greens. You season them with a little soy sauce, and when you pan fry them or boil them is actually better because it cuts the bitter down. Um, you can do a little bit of sugar or honey or maple syrup. Yeah, yeah, and um, so there's things to do if they were to go outside and look, and they're in a better growing area than I am by any stretch of the imagination. This is Minnesota; it's cold. Um, but we did. I went to food shelves. Um, there was a time after my daughter was born that I had to take this old crappy metal stroller we had, and I walked a couple miles with that this antique, god awful thing. That's something I found. We did not have a stroller. I found this thing, and I used it. And my daughter and as she was a baby, I'd walk over to the food shelf a couple miles away, and I'd load up what I could. Now, mind you, there were people who would drive me home, and they'd let me get everything I needed instead of just certain bags, because I had to be able to carry what I could on the stroller without burying my daughter, not burying my infant daughter. And because at the time I had been on bed rest, I had no job, and my ex was going to school full time, and we were living off of a little bit of student loan money, and we could not get assistance. I had WIC, and that was it. And enough MA for the birth of the baby. Yeah, I don't understand what the mental blockage is. Survival mode has to kick in at some point. And I've been trying, to kind of get that across, is that survival mode has to hit. This situation is not going to get any better for the two of them. And now, as terrible as this sounds, now I don't know. I don't know the full details of why she doesn't have the children, anything like that. As terrible as it sounds, I agree with her. She is not in the condition to take care of those kids. They're in the spot they need to be right now. And regardless how that happened or why that happened, although I do know the details of why, and I kind of got into it with her because I had been there, and I made the same decision. So this triggered me for a while. It really did. I couldn't even talk to her for a bit because, Now, I didn't lose the kids. I fought eventually in court and kept the kids, but there was a point where I had made the same decision she did. Oh, I hope so. But I watched abuse happen and I did nothing. I stood there and did nothing. Mind you, I had gone through a lot growing up. And Shanny and I got to talking first because we had some similar experiences. Um, Now I was friends with her mother, and I'm sure her mother from Summerland is not pleased about what's going on now. But I was not the parent I wished I could be, and it took me a while to become a good parent. And it meant I had to get out of my mental shit and just do it. And I was lucky I had a support system. I had people that were able to provide me resources, help me get out of an abusive situation. I was being abused too at that point. So you know how there's so many stories out there about women who their kids get abused and the women get abused. That was the situation I was in. But do I feel guilty about it? Hell yeah. The things that happened, I feel guilty as hell about. And the only thing that is different here is she can't take care of herself either. She's not, I think, emotionally, mentally, and physically, she is not capable of taking care of herself. She has to have somebody taking care of her. And that is the huge problem. And whether that she's gotten herself in that condition. I've gotten myself into, I'm banged up and beat up and, same thing. But she doesn't think she can take care of herself, and she has made herself dependent. And I don't know if that's going to change. But her kids are definitely in a better spot right now, and hopefully she can get herself back to where she can fix things. I don't know. But she's got to do it without depending on other people, and I don't know how far she can go with that. She has to hit that place in herself to not be dependent on others and to find her strength. And I have told her that. I was extremely angry with her that she picked Jason over her kids. But if they already knew that this was going to happen, that they were going to be out of the motel soon and everything was going to completely fall apart, then it was the better decision for the kids because they're out of it. I've tried to tell her Catholic Charities. My ex-girlfriend, for a while was homeless, had lost everything. One apartment was a massive fire, and then she went to this apartment that she could not afford, stayed there until she was about $20,000 behind on her rent, and ended up on the streets. And she went to Catholic Charities for a while, had to pretend she was Catholic, and got herself back on her feet. She's been living on her own now for several years, doing just fine, working and everything else. She got everything back together. And I told Shannon that she needs to do that. Anybody else in her situation, that is a very good resource. And they're going to make you do things, job plans and whatever else. That's something they require. But you're going to have a roof over your head. You're going to have food. You just do it. You do what you got to do. And, you know, I was homeless for a while too. I was lucky I did have a lot more resources. So I could randomly go and stay at places. I had people that were having me house sit and animals sit too, but, you know, I have a lot of experience with animals. Um, and I was allowed to shower at work. So there were things that I had better resources than she does right now. But going to the food shelf, doing all of that stuff, she's gotta do it. And just relying on donations from people online is not gonna take care of her throughout the winter. I did tell them to get some gas and get south. And it's someone else's duty to take care of them while they do nothing. I don't know where that comes from. I do not understand that. For single adults with no children unable to work, some states have general assistance. Yeah, exactly. I also told her, and you know, back when she was saying they were going to apply for disability, or Jason was, or something, and I recently told her too, I said, even though you don't have a permanent address, get a post office box, spend the money on that, give yourself a permanent mailing address, and get a disability lawyer and apply for disability. Troy got it in 9 months, and the lawyer only took 30% of the initial payment, the first payment, which was $250 to the lawyer. It barely cost us anything. And now Troy's got disability every month. It's a process, but we never had to go to the courtroom. If you get a lawyer right away, you don't pay up front. You pay when you get your initial deposit, and all's good. So these are actions she could be taking while she's in this spot. But yeah, get gas, get to a warmer state. That ain't a spider, is it? No. I am going to wash all of these after I do this anyway, so. She needs to get someplace warmer because they are going to freeze. And if that means being apart from her kids for a while, so be it. Again, still find a place that they are going to stay and be able to handle it for a bit and winter it out and get that P.O. box. Food shelves are amazing. Check with the local phone directory. Calling 211 United Way. Yeah. They'll triage people for housing and stuff like that. So try United Way. Try all these different things. This has to be done now. This cannot wait. And it's easier for me to say this and say it publicly. I finally had to speak up. I could not do this anymore without speaking up. I can't just sit by and watch. I'm already depressed. I'm already dealing with this. And, you know, I like her. I like her mother. I'm sad her mom is gone. But I did promise I was going to try and be there, at least on the emotional level, because I mean, I've got stuff to take care of here. I'm not going to take care of them, and that's not going to benefit anything. I think G-Man did more harm than good, because they still had it in their heads that everything is going to be just fine. It's all taken care of. They don't have to take any further action. I they it's too easy to be dependent, and that's that's where they are. They took the easy route, and it it did more harm than good. I may be missing some of the comments. I apologize. This is a lot of kale. Oh my god. I don't know if I'm going to get this all done tonight. It's already getting dark out here. Although I'm comfortable in the cold, so I'm in shorts and a t-shirt right now. Boy, that's a lot of kale. Holy crap. I might have to bring some of it in the house. But you know, I mean, it's well past the time where things like my mother did when I was little. She was shooting rabbits off of riding horseback, just so we would have food. You know, we lived off of oatmeal. The church food shelf has given Troy and I so much over the past couple years now, for food, because and we get 1 bag a month of fresh stuff and some pantry staples, and I use it. And the only reason it's delivered is because my father-in-law is running the food shelf, and so he brings the stuff, you know. But for a while we were getting a lot because we had to depend on it. And you know, because now with the Social Security, it's gotten a bit easier. And we did pretty good with our business sales this year. So I think we're well out of that rut now, although the medical bills are huge. And kidney failure is worse for Troy. So it's, you know, money wise, it still kind of just goes away, you know, and you still have to struggle, and that doesn't stop. The struggling does not stop. I've lived out of my car. I know they can do it, but they do need to go south. And I think her boys will forgive her for having to duck the state for a while and go further south. I'm pretty sure those boys are not ready to lose their mom. My father left for 27 years. Was not the best thing. He left when I was 5. He didn't come back for 27 years. And we made up when he came back. And it was easy for me to forgive him. It's not making excuses. He got into drugs, he got into alcohol, he destroyed his entire life. He was living in a mobile home in the mountains in Colorado. This was a guy who was an engineer and designed the computers for the Apollo missions. That's what he threw away. And I was his only child and had his only grandchildren. But it cost him everything. He was not there that long. And if I can forgive that, I know her boys love her. They'll be happy to know that she's going to return. But I'm pretty sure at least the oldest one knows that she's not in the state to take care of anybody else right now. She has to be able to take care of herself. And I don't know what to do about Jason. Honestly, I do not like the man. I have not liked the man. I think he is abusive. I think he's got too much drug and alcohol crap going on. And I don't like G-Man either. I think this is going to sound terrible. G-Man's a twat waffle. Anyway, she made herself dependent on these guys. And To any women out there, don't do that. I know we've got this body positivity thing, and every size is beautiful and all of this. Don't get yourself to where you can't move. So he may be eligible for yeah, he is eligible for Medicare. We're working on that tonight or tomorrow morning before I go to work. We're going to get the Medicare signing up. So, that is happening because especially with the renal stuff going on, we have to get that lined up because regular insurance is not going to handle renal anything. They're already denying payments, and we're almost 30,000 behind with medical bills right now. So yeah, we got to do something. But then again, Troy's stubborn too, so it's like trying to get her to do things, like you've got to sign up for this, but the process is complicated. Plus her vision has been getting worse. There's been more and more instances where the blood pressure goes up and the vessels burst in the eyes and there's more active bleeding, and so there's been more frequent injections into the eyes and stuff. So we're managing. That's all we can do. But anyway, I had to say my piece. Shannon, if you do see this, please, please, please go get this stuff done. Don't give up on everything. Your first responsibility is to your kids. And that means getting yourself into a situation where you can get them back. Yes, we will, definitely. We have to, because this is crazy. But yeah, just you gotta fight like Mama Cougar. They are your responsibility. They are why you're on this earth, and you've got to be able to take care of them. Don't disappear from their lives, as far as don't throw everything away like you're doing right now. And I'm still here. You may be mad at me hearing what I said tonight, and I don't care. I had to say it. And to anybody else in that situation too, and like I said, I was there too. Don't throw it all away. Get yourself better, get yourself stable, and then you fight for them boys. And if you have to dump a couple turds, dump a couple turds. I hate to tell you. Your strength is in yourself, and right now that is where your power has to be. You have to take care of yourself and be strong enough to do it on your own, because you can be a single mom and it'll be just fine. Anyway, it is as black as pitch out here, almost. I'm going to finish what I can see and then head in the house. So thanks for popping in, you guys. Sorry this was so short, but anyway, love you guys. You take care. Have a fantastic night. Blessed be everybody. Now, how do I stop this? I never know. Night, Hard Truths. Night, Mudbrooker.